Hi, Joe.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you. I've read that you and just about every other contemporary enlightened person that I've read about came from a spiritual practice, a tradition.
Eckhart Tolle, Byron Katie.
I don't know about Eckhart, I have to say.
I do.
He didn't seem to come from a tradition
Not at all.
Not at
No,
all.
no.
Well, we'll forget about those.
Okay. Let's push back the information that refutes the argument, but what the hell? I'll go with you because I know there's something you want to ask, so sure.
It's a burning question.
Good.
It's a burning question.
Okay.
Otherwise I would never have
I know.
come to stand here.
I know.
And yet, you and most of the others say, it's nothing you can do.
No.
And
Let's get one thing clear, okay? Please don't lump me in with the rest of the others. Not that I have a problem with the rest of the others, but if your mind immediately assumes that I'm saying what somebody else is saying, it's not going to hear what I'm actually saying. That's really important, because I am not simply saying there's nothing you can do. That's not all that I'm saying. I'm saying that to the idea of you, but that's not all that I'm saying. If that was it, if that was the end of the story, then why are we here? Why am I talking to you?
Exactly.
What's all this about?
Exactly.
Yes. So there is.
What I meant
that's
to
part.
say,
There's more to the story. In other words.
What I meant to say was, you say meditation won't get you there. The spiritual path is another distraction. So anyway, the burning question is, what is the point of spiritual practice?
That's easy. That's simple. The point of the spiritual practice is to exhaust the seeker. Really. If it accomplishes that, it has done its piece. That's what it did for me. It exhausted the seeker.
Is it not?
I don't know. I'm not saying I couldn't have done it without the practice, but the practice was definitely in an arena in which the seeker in me could strive and struggle and do all those things and eventually exhaust itself into surrender. So therefore, I look back on all the practice I did with a great reverence because it was part of what happened. I can look back and say, there's a very big difference between saying, ultimately, from the view of the ultimate, nothing needs to be done because everybody is already that. There's a big difference between saying that was just a statement from the view and saying, therefore, don't do any practice. I never tell people, don't do practice. I try to reorient the way they are. If they're going to engage in it, I want to reorient how you're engaging in it. You see, is the best thing that a practice can do is to exhaust the seeker. As long as the seeker thinks that the seeker is getting closer and closer and closer, then the seeker is deluding itself, which is okay because that's part of the exhaustion of the seeker also.
And after the exhaustion comes despair.
Yes, that's about the time that people listen to me.
But I think you have said, I may have not understood, but I think you said that you can't help either. I wanted to ask you why.
I can't take that despair away. I wouldn't even want to take the despair away. The disillusionment, the despair, is the last death throes of the seeker. Why would I want to help the seeker?
Well, why are we here? Why are you here? Why are we here? And
all I can do is speak for myself. Very simple. I have no idea. Truly. I'm not being coy and I'm not being, anything. I'm just saying I don't have a reason I don't have a motivation. I don't think you need to hear this. I don't think I'd be fine if I didn't say it.
We came a long way.
Yes, I came a long way too. I came farther than you did. Yes, we.
We?
Yes.
We is you,
Yes.
of course.
So in other words, I don't have an idea that I travel with and motivates me to do this. But having said that, see, this is a tricky thing about words. They're always partial. Having said that, this is the sense I always have. I don't say this to my mind, but if I was translated into language, my reason for existing would be to be right here, right now, talking to you. This is it. I'm not saying that's the truth. I'm saying that's the sense that this moment, right now, if there was any reason for my incarnation, this moment was it.
You would say that about any moment.
That's what I was going to say next. That's the sense of it. That's how one feels that this moment, this is it. This is it. This moment is the reason I was incarnated. This one, this one, this one. That's why I say I can't carry this thing called a purpose or a meaning, because each instant is the totality of purpose. Each instant is the totality of meaning. It can't be carried on. Do you see what I mean? Each instant is so complete that that's the feeling of it, that this is it.
Your second burning question.
Did we get the first question, though?
Yeah, despair.
Yeah.
And then the letting go, I suppose, is the answer to the previous question.
Yeah, that's sort of the death throes of the me. It's like nothing's worked. Nothing has actually helped me to avoid this despair. And it's, can one stop there? Not resist that despair. Because that's just the me running out of avenues that even it will believe will save it. Right? That's the place where you can stop. Stop right in the middle of the despair. That's a grace. Grace doesn't always come in the package we expect it. That's fierce grace. Fierce grace is not the grace that comes and pats us on the head and gives us a moment of bliss. That's really nice, but there's this other side of grace that can be quite fierce. It can be everything we've ever run from. It can be the whole reason, or a big part of the reason we're into spirituality, so we don't have to experience moments of like this. And yet, if your heart's true, anything you do will lead you here. Will lead you to right where you are. And I'm here to say, you are exactly where you need to be.
I might be wrong, but I've been thinking about that question for ages. I came up with a couple of ideas myself, and one of them was that practicing diligently a spiritual path over time, it puts you in an appropriate place for when the despair comes. Speaking of Eckhart again, he didn't know what happened. He thought he was insane for a couple of years, and I've heard other people have had. A certain woman, I can't remember her name. She thought she was insane for 10 years.
Well, Eckhart didn't think he was insane. Other people were concerned about his insanity.
But he didn't know what
he didn't know what happened. No.
So if we are on a spiritual path and doing practice, then we have some idea. We know
some orientation,
and also it strips you down. So it can really strip you down, so that
it can. It may not. It can also really build you up, but it can strip you down, sure. But see, it all strips you down to a moment where you're ready to stop.
Mm.
Then you can look back and you can say, thank you, all the practice, wonderful. You did the job. You got me here. Mm. It doesn't mean everybody needs to come through that route. People come through many routes, right? Many, many, many routes. Spiritual practice is one of the one of the avenues that can get you there. And if that's the avenue you're on, fine. As my teacher used to say, everybody's doing a dance. Dance it all the way out. You know? Dance it all the way out. And then she ended up with this very uncharacteristic statement for her when she said, and only the phonies don't get enlightened. Yeah, that got my attention too. Because there I was very unawake and I thought, that would be me?
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Yeah. But there's a beauty in, you just dance, whatever's happening, you just dance it, if you just dance it out. It exhausts itself, it extinguishes itself, it's fine, whatever your dance is. If it's your practice, then you just dance it out and exhaust yourself. It exhausts it, and then boom, then you hit that place. Oh my God, this hasn't delivered me where I wanted to be. That's the thing I'm talking about. I don't care how somebody gets there. This isn't where I wanted to be. My practice delivered me here. I thought it was going to deliver me there, somewhere other than here. It's a place called nirvana or enlightenment, and it delivered me here. I don't want to be here. But see, the gate towards the realization, that's the gate. Why do so many people wake up when they get bad news? You're going to die in a month. Sorry, there's no way. There's no way out of it. And they despair, panic. Oh God, there's no more time. There's no time for anything anymore. And they're stopped, maybe. And so this is the same thing. Stopped. Then the interest becomes not so much where I'm going, but what I am. Because then you actually have, your energy is no longer moving forward where you're going, and suddenly it's available to you. It may be very uncomfortable, but it's all available. What am I? Not where can I get to and how do I get there, but what am I?
Not what can I become.
Right. Not what I can be, not what I can become. Right. What am I? Right here and right now. Do you get the feel? And see, in that place, there's a sense of tremendous energy. There's the intuition. Something's vital here. This may be the place I always ran from, but you sense in it there's something extraordinarily vital here. There's something very, very alive, right? This is where I see through myself. This is where I see that I am not the seeker. Because that's a death all in of itself, isn't it? I mean, it was a death for me too. I come from the Zen tradition and 15 years and all that, and I'm very thankful for it. It was the avenue that I needed to struggle against. So it played its part, it played it wonderfully for me. And yet, at a certain point, when I started to sort of sober up a bit, I realized I have become not only a spiritual seeker, but I've become a Buddhist spiritual seeker, and I've become a Zen Buddhist spiritual seeker, and I've become a spiritual person who's on all these things I have now added on top of what I was. And when I saw that, I was like, I know that's not really true. I may be on a Buddhist path, but I'm not a Buddhist. I'm not a Zen Buddhist. I'm not a seeker. I'm not a spiritual person. I'm not all these things. This spiritual persona that got constructed along with the path, it's almost unavoidable actually that it gets constructed. But again, if you really want the truth, it inevitably leads to the demise of the spiritual persona.
Identity crisis.
Exactly. Couldn't have put it better. an identity crisis. And when we have an identity crisis, what most people do is shop around for a new one. Really. A better one.
See a therapist.
See a therapist, or go, well, you know, being a Hindu didn't work, I'll be a Buddhist. Or being a Hindu and a Buddhist didn't work, I'll be a Christian. And that didn't work, and so I'll be this, and I'll be an Adyashanti follower guy or girl, or, you know, if that doesn't work, and it's just, each one of them may have actually served their purpose. They may have actually got you to a point of identity crisis. In that sense, each one of them may have got you where you needed to go, but what most people do is they don't stay in the crisis. They don't find out what they really are. That insecurity is too demanding, and so they hop somewhere else where they can get another identity, become a follower of something different, and a different self, and a little bit more hope, and so they can avoid it for a little more time. But that's okay too, because that'll run out. It's all good because it all runs out. Right? Illusion cannot self-generate forever. And you go, wow, I'm not any of these things. Maybe I'm not anything at all. Wouldn't that be delightful?
Well, it's liberating.
Yeah. I had one person who I was talking to just like you, and they started to see it. And you know what the first thing he said was, bless his heart, he goes, what am I going to do with all my time? Because all of his time was meant seeking this thing, as mine used to be. And it's like, what am I going to, you know, that chews up vast amounts of energy and time and money and expense and everything. What am I going to do?
Go fishing.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Anything else, well, whatever you want to do now. Yeah.
The guy last night was...
Go fishing, do this, it doesn't matter. Or do that most scary thing to all egos is just an ordinary life. Because at that point, it doesn't matter anymore.
So, Adya, since there's nothing to do, but we are alive and here...
Yes.
We could do something, if only.
Yes.
Fishing, breathing, whatever.
Yes.
Is it about... I know I'm going to use the wrong words.
It's okay. You can use the wrong words with me, okay?
Thank you.
I'm not a conceptual policeman.
Thanks. So, is it about being just responding to the moment, attending to the task at hand and responding to the moment in the moment?
That's what happens.
You
Yes.
know, you might end up finding yourself in a police rescue team, or you don't know where it will take you.
Right.
When you don't have an agenda.
That's right. Life, for the vast majority of people, life is going to definitely do something with them. It's going to express itself, right? Because that's what's happening with you right here. Life is expressing itself.
Yes.
That's what's actually happening. There's nothing in you that's in any way separate from life. It's expressing itself. Same thing here. It's expressing itself. My story of why and where it's going and all that is just a story. I know it's not true. It's just life expressing itself. And that is what will happen. And it doesn't need to be, like you said, it could be, firemen, policemen, it could be, I've told the story at Satsang many times of the most awake person I ever met worked in a convenience store on the island of Kauai.
Do you know that French guy who runs a bed and breakfast? What's his name?
I don't know.
I can't remember his name. He was in that beautiful book by Lynn Marie and John, whatever their name is.
Yeah.
And he didn't tell anybody, but people kind of know about him.
Yeah.
He was a real estate agent before that.
Yeah.
And that's just the way he's lived.
Yeah. I was a bicycle mechanic.
I thought you were a machinist in a factory.
Well, that was just after the bicycle mechanic thing. But since I did the bicycle mechanic for 15 years, and I did the machinist thing for about 3. I say the bicycle mechanic thing had much more to do with it. But after that, then I was a machinist. The first 3 years that I was teaching, I was a machinist, cranking handles, making little parts. And the thing was, it was fine. It was delightful. Nothing needed to change. It only changed because I just got too exhausted trying to do both full time. But that's the nice thing. It's not going to look any particular way. It's going to look like your grandmother, your grandfather, the store clerk, the somebody, the something. The mind just has these projections that it's going to look a particular way, or it's going to speak about it to big groups, or it's going to be a great guru, or all that. 99% of the totally awake, enlightened people aren't stupid enough to ever teach it to anybody. Consider those who do as an aberration in the universal intelligence. It had a hiccup and decided to do this. Most people, it doesn't express itself this way at all.
It kind of leads me to the second question. Sorry if I'm taking up too much time, but
you're enjoying it, aren't you?
I'm getting answers. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. This is a stupid question. What is satsang? What does it mean? What are you doing? What does
question?
It mean?
I have no idea what I'm doing. We'll get that clear.
What is satsang?
Oh, what does it actually mean?
Yeah.
One of the traditional definitions is association with truth.
Thank you.
Association with truth, which to the way I would put it in a more contemporary vernacular is, it's the place we come together where the spoken or unspoken agreement is that we're all here for the truth, the real truth, the real truth. That's what we're here for. That's what we are all doing. Me, you, us. That's what it's dedicated to. It's what it's about. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.